After that, though, it's wherever they want to go, wherever they think is fastest. That's where they're going. And we're off. So let's look at this board. The center square is pretty good. Atop the highest tower in sand is actually something that was once upon a time in the any percent route, though extremely briefly. Either way, it's a decently fast moon. We got World Metro or World Peace and Metro, 16 non-ground pound moons in sand, which sounds easier than it is. There's a lot of moons that we get in any percent sand that are ground pound moons, so you have to replace quite a few of them. Other than that, nothing terrible on this board. 30 moons in Metro isn't great. 100 moons total isn't great. 3 fountains in Seaside isn't great, but I mean, there's nothing in here really that's going to take you way out of your way, I don't think. I'd say this is a pretty solid board. So again, we're just going to see them go through Cap and the beginning of Cascade. Not really a whole lot of difference there in terms of routing. It's just going to be some movement changes and potentially some purple collecting in Cascade. The only thing really on here for them to collect that for would be the 125 total regionals. So, and even then, that's not really too big of a goal where they need to worry about collecting right away. But other than that, yeah, it's just going to be your typical first moon and then T-Rex skip up to the brutal fight. It is important to note that there's not really anything that gets done super early. There's no way to avoid going to Metro, and there's not really much way to avoid going to Seaside or doing like 30 moons in Metro. So really already I would say plan to go to Seaside. You can end on Festival, but you would also still have to be getting like 30 moons in Metro. Because there's 3 goals on the board that take you to Seaside, and then 2 more that take you to either World Peace and Metro or Late Metro. Not too much backtracking on here. There's Cloud Picture Match and 2 checkpoints in Cap. Both of those visits are like maybe a minute or so if you decide to do them. We see Bayleef grabbing some purples here already. It looks like he's going to be going for that total regionals goal. There is 2 moons from Goomba, which you could get done by Wooded if you do Sandpiece, but I don't see Sandpiece being an option here. There's really just not enough other stuff going on relating to that to make it worth it. I think my route here would be column 1, row 3, and bottom left, top right. you're not doing too much out of the way for column 1. I mean, 125 regionals is a fair bit, but it's really not too much. Sub areas are kind of built in. You do have to revisit Cloud, and you do go all the way to Seaside, but really there's not a whole lot of other goals that take you out of the way. Notes works with sub areas since you have to go into the one sand sub area for notes. Captures are pretty free. Lost moons are really fast. And you have Captain Toad built into the Lost Moons anyways. Looks like Briguy is rushing his way out of here. Again, there's not really a whole lot going on here unless you really want to grab some timers and then some purples like Bayleef is doing. Captures is 24, so big chomp is a good thing to grab here if you want it, but it's not terribly necessary if you don't want to grab it. Bayleef definitely looking for those captures though, just grabbing him. If you do want to do a metro finish, this board is like, there's a lot of good goals in this board. There's nothing that's super terrible. The only unfortunate thing about column 1, bottom left, top right, and R3 is just that there's not a whole lot of other purple things to go with it. Briguy is still not collecting any purples. I think it's safe to say he's not planning on going for that goal. And he's also not getting any of the ground pound moves in sand yet. He skipped 2 of them already, so he might be going for that goal. Which I would think would lean towards like a row 2, just because the other rows don't really sync well with that. The one things that we will be watching for here are tower, sub areas, notes. There's 2 notes to grab here, and you do need to grab all the notes in order to get 6, unless you plan on doing some crazy routing. Bayleef not avoiding the ground pound moons by the looks of it. What else are we looking for here? 2 moons from sub areas. We're not going to see timer challenges here probably. Unique captures is pretty important here. There's the Moai and the cactus. They're probably the 2 major ones you want to look out for. Bullet Bill can also... you could get it later in Metro if you really wanted to, but this is the main spot you would want to get it. There is also a 750 coins goal, and Sand is a place where you do a lot of coin grinding. Maybe not grinding, but you know, you got Sphinx, you got sub areas, and you got a lot of spots to grab coins here, and not as much in the rest of the route. Bayleef going for Dram. Ooh. Throws Cappy a little bit too early. Looks like Briguy's going to be climbing back up and doing tower, although he has a little bit of trouble getting up with Sphinx. He's going to drop down and do flowing sands real quick. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier, we are allowing clips, we're not allowing Luigi innards. Bayleef is on 1.2, but he's a madman who says he can do all those clips anyways, despite them being harder, so we're not going to worry about it too much. Looks like both of them are going for that tower though. Which is not surprising since it's a really good center square. It's also really nice, honestly, just for that checkpoint. If you have to do sub-areas, there's a lot of skipping around the level you have to do, and there's not a ton of checkpoints really on the way to grab. Like, there's this one and the one by Jaxie, and the rest of them are kind of... They're not out of the way big time, but they're really easy to skip over. So, first goal marked, about 10.5 minutes in for both. Still looking around to see what they might be doing. Bayleef's been getting a good bit of purples both here and in Cascade. He's probably already got around 50 total. Both going for Jaxie skip right now. It'll be interesting to see if either of them decide to do that sub area for notes. It works well too if you're doing just the 2 sub areas in Sand Goal, because you have the notes and the sub areas going into the same bit of time. Yeah, it looks like both of them are going for those, and doesn't necessarily mean they're going for notes specifically, but I think both of them are going for row 3. I do think, I would say Briguy would be going for top left, bottom right, maybe for a metro finish, but he's not getting metro or a ton of regionals yet. So unless he's planning on getting them from elsewhere, and the only other regional goals, or even related to regional goals on the board, are 60 regionals in Wooded and then the 40 in Seaside. He's not getting the 40 in Seaside if he's finishing in metro, so. Really curious as to, because he has been avoiding ground pound moons. Bayleef for his captures still does need to capture either a Moai or a cactus for this level. Briguy just grabbing, Briguy, I keep saying Briguy, keeps grabbing some notes. So both of them are going to be leaving with 2 note moons. And it looks like that's all he's going to say for this, or that's all he wrote. Bayleef doing some more Jaxie stuff. I think he might be heading to that sub area with the Moai. It's definitely a good one to grab both for the capture and the sub area moons. He does only need 2 more moons though, and he doesn't have the notes moon either. So he's gonna have at least 1 more moon to get after this, unless he decides to just get the 1 sub area moon here. Briguy though, moving on. Presumably to Lake. Maybe he'll stop by Cap. If he is going to stop by, now would be the time to do it, just from menuing. Ooh, Bayleef nearly dropping into the poisonous pit. I don't believe he went and got notes, unless I just missed him doing it earlier. Which I don't believe I did. So he may not be doing notes after all. As far as Lake goes, there's not too much going on here. Captures are something you definitely want to look out for here, because there's like 6 or 7 of them, and 2 or 3 of them are post-piece only. Other than that, I mean, sub-areas, purples. There's nothing really lake-specific here. Timer challenges are kind of lake-specific. You definitely want to be going for them in lake if you're going for timer challenges at all. But don't think either of them really win for timers in Cascade anyways, so I don't think they would be going for them here. Really nice notes by Bayleef. Briguy also grabbing notes, both at the beginning, get to be grabbed, and then also these. Bayleef grabbing the binoculars. He's definitely doing fine on captures if that's what he's going for, and that definitely seems to be the case. He's honestly getting enough to where he could skip doing a lake piece if he wanted to. Briguy doing a route where he's more than likely not going to get world peace here. He has to get this moon, one other one, and then he's probably heading back to that other note moon at the beginning. Bayleef is probably going to do the same. And also grabbing some coins here. So Briguy seems to be going for the coins. He's already at 521 out of 750. Still really curious as to how all of this works into his route. That includes 16 non-ground pound moons in sand. Looks like Bayleef is going to finish off with the good old red jump, cling, climb sub area, which is, I'm not sure if it's anyone's favorite. Most people generally dread it. It's not a terribly difficult room casually because you just kind of jump, grab, cling, and climb, but we don't do a whole lot of clinging in the speed version of this room. Bayleef having no issues though. That'll be his 6th sub-area moon. Both of them have 4 notes leaving the lake. Briguy is slightly ahead in terms of kingdom progression. Really, it's hard to tell who's in the lead at this point. Still only 2 goals marked total between the middle square and then Briguy having the 16 moons in sand. We do have row 3, I think, kind of confirmed for both of them, but other than that, there's really not a whole lot to go off of. I would say Briguy maybe is going for column 3, which works pretty well since 16 lost moons. You're already grabbing 14, so 2 more is really not a big deal. If he is going for row 4, Metro World Peace and then sub-areas is pretty much all the moons you need in Metro, and you wouldn't really be getting much extra. And that would help towards the sub-area total in general. He doesn't really have to worry about it too much, since just without grabbing any other extras between here and Metro, he already has 10 confirmed. But we also haven't seen a lake revisit yet. Bayleef going back and doing some more moons in the lake. Particularly timer moons. So I wonder if maybe he's settled on a different route than what he originally decided on. Because there's nothing else really for him to be doing these for. Briguy's not really been going for captures too much, but then again, 24 captures isn't something where you need to worry too much about it, really, especially if you're going all the way to Seaside. There's something like 33, I think, captures up till that point, so skipping 9, if you skip mostly the early game ones, isn't a big deal. But it's also possible that, like Bayleef just now, that he might be rethinking his route a bit and swapping around a little. He may have decided just now that, oh, maybe I can swap out this row for that one and not really do too much extra. But also it seemed kind of obvious that they were going to do row 3 from the beginning, so maybe he just forgot or just wasn't worried about getting them early. It's possible that Bragg is actually planning on doing column 2, I guess. Bayleef heading straight for Deep Woods. Between the regional coins, I mean, it seemed pretty obvious that he was going to go for this for column 1, because row 1 isn't too great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And then top left, bottom right isn't too swell either. Deep Woods definitely helps with captures, though. Though you didn't need to capture the second time, Bayleef. Well, he's got his 2 Deep Woods moons done. It's up to him whether he wants to grab more. Deep Woods, definitely, if you're already down here, it's not a bad idea to just grab 5 or 6 moons, just because there are that many that are relatively fast. See Briguy grabbing the poison prawn right here. This is actually the only real time you can grab it. If you wait until after you beat Spewer and then try and come back for it, it's not going to be there anymore. It is kind of tricky compared to other captures since you have to throw a rock into its mouth first, but it's still relatively quick. We could see both going for 100 moons too. That's also a possibility. Although Bayleef didn't mark 2 sub-areas in sand. And I mean, if he was going for that goal, I would imagine he would be row 1. Because he's already out of doing column 2 for sure. He is going out of his way to grab some nuts though. That might be for row 5 or for column 4, or there's a lot of options as far as doing that, because that also might just be 20 moons in Wooded. We see a tower skip from Briguy, nicely done. Briguy still also does have to go into Deep Woods yet if he's planning on doing that. Other things we're looking for here in Wooded, they're going to have to grab the Goomba Moon because they're not grabbing the one in Sand for sure. There's no notes here. There's a fair bit of unique captures where I just saw some of that. There's the Piranha Plant, and also an underrated one that a lot of people kind of skip and miss over is the Fire Bro. He's a really quick one to grab, but it's also kind of not one you really think of. Other than that, we got 20 moons in Wooded, 9 nut moons, 2 deep wood moons. There's a lot going on here. There's also 60 regionals. Which Briguy's gotten a fair bit of those, so I think he's grabbing those. That could be a row 5 or not row 5, a row 2 or it could be a column 5. I think what Briguy might be planning on doing is row 2, column 3, yeah. Or row 3 rather. Which would be better with column 2 and row 3? Would it be row 2 or column 3? Well, he is going for coins already, so I think he's planning column 3. So he went out of his way to grab the ones from Lake and made sure to grab all the ones from the Sphinx room too. He's got 14 moons so far for his 20 moons. 10 more purples to go for his 60 purples, and another thing to point out here, oh, he's gonna grab his Goomba moon right now. But yeah, another thing to point out here is that for captures, this is actually a really good spot to grab a couple if you go into that rocket sub area. The rocket itself is a capture, and then the Paragoomba is a capture as well. And the other only spot to get that Paragoomba is all the way back in cap. So if they don't plan on going back there, then this is a good spot to grab it. Get in the bonkless nut. Nicely done. Unfortunately, not a bonkless climb up. Briguy doesn't have to go into deep woods, but it still is definitely a good idea if he wants the moons for, or not the moons, but the captures from there. And since he was kind of lax on them in sand, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But no, he's opting not to. Again, he should still be fine. I think he missed 2 captures in sand and no, 3 captures in sand with Knuckletech included. And then you can get Rocket later in Seaside, but you do miss the Paragoomba unless he's planning on going back for that later. He's definitely cutting it kinda close, but he should be fine. You're definitely grabbing both and lost to get those 14 or 16 moons. I don't think Bayleef's getting nuts. I mean, it's possible. He still only has 1 square marked, but I don't think he is. I think he's going row 3, column 1, and then something else. Although he hasn't marked this Deep Woods moon goal, and he definitely grabbed 2. He grabbed the tree and the timer at the very least. But he may just be waiting until he leaves Wooded to mark it. Or he might have just forgotten. I've been guilty of that lately, honestly. Used to be good about it, but not so much nowadays. I'll be halfway through another level and remember that I have a goal that I need to mark. We're either marking 6 regionals in Wooded, and he got his Goomba Moon. He did a Pipeway as a sub area, but that's still only 2 sub areas done for him. And he needs, if he's not doing column 2, so I guess he doesn't necessarily need 14 total. He's not doing row 4 either. Goomba Moon for Bayleef done as well. See if he grabs at least the rocket. Maybe doesn't bother going to the sub area. Oh, no, he will. Bayleef is definitely safe on captures though. He hasn't really missed much of any. I think he skipped the puzzle piece in Lake. I don't remember if he grabbed the Kidu. He was kind of by there when he was doing some of his late lake stuff, but I don't think he bothered grabbing him. So at this point, Briguy doing row 2, row 3, and something. Might be, it's got to be column 3, I think, with his coins. So as far as that goes, he's got 8 sub-areas to do in Metro, 40 regionals in Seaside, 3 fountains, and then a bunch of moons here. He's looking pretty good as far as that goes. There's not a ton. He's probably going to be fine actually on coins once he talks to Toad here. He has 600 and Toad has, I think, like 100, 150 or so around him. I think the main thing Briguy has to keep in mind is his capture count, because he's not done great at the beginning of the run to keep up with him. And it is something to where if you're not on top of it, it'll bite you in the butt. Grabbing the checkpoint there, he's already gotten the top moon in Lost, so he doesn't really need that top checkpoint anymore if he doesn't want it. He is presumably going to need to grab shards though, I think. Or some of the moons by the fuzzies. So Bayleef's still not marking, he did mark his 2 Deep Woods moons goal. Didn't go for anything other than that though. So again, that looks like a column 1, row 3 and something. That could be row 4 with a late revisit to cap, or it might be a... He might be doing column 5? No, because he didn't mark 60 wood coins, and he definitely didn't grab that many. He is probably pretty safe in the 125 regionals goal at this point, though. He may also be doing column 3, but he's behind on points if that's the case. Unfortunate death. Should still probably be fine on coins though. Makes it in that time, nice. And 12 more. If he hadn't died there, he'd be too short still, but we see him marking the goal now, while Bayleef begins his trek through Lost. Let's see here. So we're at 14 moons in Lost already. It looks like Briguy is gonna go for 2 more. Yeah, he's gonna grab the fuzzy moons. I was kind of wondering if he was gonna go for Dram or something crazy, but doesn't look like it. Oh, it's on abuse the poor Glidon, dude. Briguy grabbing that checkpoint for safety, and he's gonna take the 8-bit area a little easy. And that's 16 moves and Lost marked. Lovely accordion noises, courtesy of the Tropical Wiggler. Bayleef trying to get some more purples under here. He is pretty much good on purples though already. If he is going for column 3, I don't think he would be grabbing purples here. So I think we can roll that out. Yeah, I mean, he's already hit 125 if it's true that he already has 109 coming into here. I believe I know he got Rumble. He got at least 2 ground pound moons in sand, but he also ended up with, I think, 1 or 2 extra moons. So, I mean, it's close. I would say he's probably got at least like 13 non-ground pound moons. Didn't seem to me that he went out of his way to avoid them, though. I know he got at least the Dune and the Rumble Moon. Alright, Bayleef headed for Toad. Made sure to grab some coins there. That could be something towards that 750 coin goal. Might not be. I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, I would have thought he would have grabbed some more in sand if you were going for that goal, so unless that's part of a reroute. Another thing to consider is that he went back and grabbed those timers in Seaside, but he hasn't really done a whole lot towards timers since then. Now, if he does Metro Piece, which he very well might, then that's 3 timers in Metro that he could be getting. I guess he did get the one in Deep Woods, so he has 3 timers right now at least. And one of the sub-areas in Metro is a timer moon. So yeah, I don't know. This is still interesting to see what his last bingo might be. Nearly falling down there. Alright, we'll see if Briguy can get the 2 cycle. Bayleef went back and did those at the end, I believe. Actually, I don't know. You're right, I think I did notice him not getting those. It was Briguy that went back and got them at the end. He may be planning on going back to sand at some point, although I would have thought he would have done that at the end of Lake or something if he was going to, just because there's the painting. Briguy not looking like a 2 cycle. Couple segments still going, unfortunately. There's the head and one that's like 4 down. If Bayleef is going back for that, then he can do a Metro finish. It must have been a... Well, no, because if he's going for the timers, I don't know. Bayleef's route is weird. I'll just put it that way. He's definitely C1 and R3. Oh, he is going for coins now. I think he might be going for C3 now. He marked 16 wins and lost. I don't think he's going for R2. I think he's already missed too much stuff to go for R2. He'd have to go back and get 35 purples and wooded. And then the moons and sand. Which I think he has to go for the ones in sand anyways, but... It's first to 3 bingos. Yeah, I don't know, this is very... Again, there's a lot that can be kind of thrown out the window just because there could be reroutings done midway through to where they have extra stuff that they don't need. We could be getting bamboozled, who knows? Briguy trying to get the RC the normal way, and it's a little tricky in comparison to getting it with the bike after a certain point in time. It used to be something that you had to get good at, and then we found scooter clip, and now it's something that if you have to do it, it's like, I don't remember how to actually do this anymore. It's a very unfamiliar way to do the moon nowadays. Bayleef's still going for a lot of purples. He doesn't need more purples. Like in case anyone's like kinda, there's nothing really to make him get purples here. I mean, I guess if he wants to do the Metro sub area, the Metro outfit sub area, then yes, but. It's possible he misread it, but I mean, I wouldn't think so. I could see him misreading it towards the beginning, but unless he has it marked on like a notepad or something, and then is going to like go look to mark it, and then realizes then, and just hasn't looked at it. But I would imagine he would have seen it at some point, just from looking at the board every now and then and marking stuff. I mean, Captain Toad is right below it. Briguy now going through sub areas. He has gotten the notes moon here already, so all that leaves for him is to get the one at Seaside. At this point, I want to say Briguy definitely has the edge, but it's really hard to tell without knowing exactly what Bayleef is doing. I mean, the dude wanted to leave clips available despite being on 1.2. He's a madman. Welcome Star Wars. This is a triple bingo tournament match. Basically the goal is to get 3 bingos on the board you see in the bottom center of the stream. It's just a board of random objectives, so it's up to the runners to decide which bingos they think are the fastest and then to complete them as fast as they can. Briguy opting for Scooter Escape. We get to see a quick revisit from the T-Rex. And honestly, an homage, it feels to me, to some of the Crash Bandicoot chase levels. Shout out to Crash Bandicoot. Mario in a slight precarious position there. Fortunately, the T-Rex's head hitbox is not completely solid. Otherwise, doing this level would be even more of a pain than it already is sometimes. Alright, Bayleef, you have 15 coins in Metro. Alright, well, he's not just going for the outfit now. I'm really curious as to what he's thinking. I don't want to say he misread 125 as 225, because that would be really tragic. But I'm not really sure what else it would be that he's going for at this point. Like, he's gotten over 20 purples in like 5 levels, maybe 6. And with the route he's looking at, he has to grab even more. I don't know. Maybe he's just a collector, and that's what he does. Briguy getting the rocket capture here in Metro. Not a bad choice if you needed to get it and didn't want to get it in Seaside. Fire piranhas are capturable, but not here. We do see Bayleef going for the cool strat for the last shard. Once the piranha plane is off screen, he has to spit out Cappy, and Cappy happens to be right next to that shard to grab it after he gets spit out. Briguy marking 8 moons from sub areas in Metro. He has 4 more moons to grab, period, for Metro, but I mean, definitely not planning on doing Pete's at this point. I don't think Bayleef is either. He is going to grab the Notes Moon, though. If he did miss the Notes Moon and Sand for the palm trees, then Notes, then yeah, he's definitely got a revisit to do for Sand. And he's already got to do another one for Cloud Picture Match that Briguy does not have to do. Briguy heading to the seaside. He does not need to revisit anywhere. He does have a fair bit to do once he gets there, though. I think he's probably good in captures already, though he'll have to check and make sure. Because if he's not there, he's pretty close, I would say, at this point. The upper bound would be 15, not 12, unless you mean the lower bound. I assume you meant lower bound anyways. Or we could go for better bound. Better bound would be 12. I don't know how many he has exactly, but I would say it's probably around 22 to 25. He didn't get any of the extras in sand. He didn't go to deep woods. He didn't get a lot or any extras in lake because he didn't do lake piece, but he's gotten pretty much everything else. It's very possible that he's sitting at like 21 or so right now. The only capture to add here in Seaside really is the Gushin, because he's already got Rocket. There's the Gushin, there's Goombas, but he could have already gotten those in Lake. Yeah, not really too much here to grab. Cheap, but he already has that from doing Lake. Let's see Bayleef grabbing the 50 coin chest here in the outfit room, which he did decide to do, but without buying the outfit. Yeah, he got cheap in Lake. Yeah, you can do, if you do a diagonal, then you can get to only have to do 12 goals, because your diagonal can save a square both from your column and your row. Alright, what have we got here? So, this is his 5th timer moon, I believe. Unless he needs to get one more. This is either his 4th or his 5th, but I don't think he's going for that anymore. I don't know, I don't know what Bayleef is aiming for as the final thing. I think it's probably C3, but it's really hard to be certain now. He did mark 14 moons in sub-areas, which could go with column 2 if he decides that's what he wants to go back for. So he would have to go to Seaside now. I don't think R4, he can't be going for Metro Pizza at this point. This is the 3rd fountain or the 2nd fountain? I think this is only the 2nd fountain for Briguy. He's done Notes, Goomba, and then Canyon Seal. So he's probably going to go from here to the lighthouse. And then he still has to grab 22 more regionals, and then he's done. I do believe Briguy is our winner. Alright, here we see him grabbing his 5th timer. I don't know what else he's grabbing here, unless he's just not wanting the warp. I think he was just avoiding the warp. So it looks like he's going for bottom left, top right, but he still has to do 3 fountains and get picture match and some other stuff. He's got his regionals done. Briguy's at 13 to go. I reckon we very well may see a sub 52. He's not terribly close to any purples right now, and cheap being far away doesn't help him either. We do also still have to verify his captures. He could still be down 1 or 2 on those just because he missed so many early on. Alright, here's his notes. He still has to do seaside notes, so that's still only his 5th. And that's all he's doing there. This could be closer than we think, depending on his captures. I think he knows he's low. His best bet for finishing it, depending on what he's missing, is probably just to go back to Lake and do Peace there real quick. So what Bayleef has to do to finish out is do Seaside, 3 fountains, Goomba moons, and that's pretty much it besides this cloud visit. Yeah, he could do Deep Woods too, actually. That would probably be better. Depending on how many he needs. If he needs 3 or less, then he's pretty much good. He's gonna be heading to the left for the rock in the tree, and then swinging by good old Moneybags. The real question is, are we gonna get a Smiling Goomba from Bayleef? Has this all been an elaborate plot just to ensure that he has enough? Briguy is at 24 captures though, and that is the triple bingo. Briguy ending with a 53-23, plenty of respectable time, and will take the win over Bayleef. GG to Briguy. He will be moving on into the round of 8. This was actually our last of the round of 16 matches. So round of 8 will be a little bit slow to happen just because we do have SGDQ coming next week, and there's plenty of people that are going to be out for that. So we will have, I think, 3 weeks to fulfill all of the matches for round of 8. And then after that, we're into round of 4, which will be best of 3. So not only will you get to tune in for a solid bingo, you'll get to tune in for 2, possibly 3 full hours of bingo. And if that's not a satisfying idea to you, then I don't know what is. Since we're talking about it, let's look at what our matches are for the round of 8. So, since Briguy has won this match, we're going to see him face off versus Small Ant. We're going to see Timpani versus Zinpars. And that's in the top side of the bracket. in the bottom side, we got Neo Yggdrasil versus Samurai Man, and then we have Lil Aggie versus myself, JKB. Now, I know myself and Smallan are going to SGDQ. I don't know who all else is in the top 8. But I would say probably don't expect more than one match next week, if any. Instead, take some time, watch SGDQ, tune in, make some donations, and just enjoy a lot of other good speed games. Odyssey will be played in SGDQ, almost certainly. It is a donation incentive, but I mean, come on now. In fact, that is what my suggestion to you guys would be, is to tune in and donate so that we can get Odyssey in for sure. It will be run any percent by Necroveda. And I believe when it does happen, it'll be at like the end of the week. Alright, Bayleef has got 2 fountains down, I think just 1 to go, and then it's the moon. Hello, Mr. Winner.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty swell. How about yourself?
Doing alright. I think it was a pretty solid race, couple mistakes, but I mean, otherwise it went well.
I was say, how did you feel about all the routing, since we do actually have 2 different routes? That doesn't always happen at this point in time, depending on the board, but...
Yeah, so I was actually eyeing Bayleef's route at first. Like, when I saw this card, that was the route that I was going to take. And then once I realized that, like, you really had to uncork 3 fountains in Seaside, I started reconsidering. And then this one seemed to just have a bit more synergy there. But yeah, I was pretty torn for a while. I think the thing that really did it is I didn't want to do Deep Woods and Picture Match. And I thought the time sink into Seaside might be comparable, or maybe even a little shorter than that. And then, like, as for my personal route, right, I skipped too many captures. I should have just picked up, like, Cactus. I could have gone by that, and, like, a Moai or something. Or, like, the Chomp in Cascade.
Yeah, Bayleef finishing with a 57-47. And yeah, back to what you were saying, captures, it was pretty clear that row 3 was going to be a good row to go for. But like you said, you didn't pick up a whole lot of captures to begin with, so we were like kind of unsure if that was something you were going to go for or not. And Bayleef was definitely going ham on the captures early on.
Okay. Yeah, so usually when I see 24 and like I'm going to Seaside, like that's typically pretty free. But I think the fact that I didn't do Deep Woods and didn't do Cactus just like threw me off, and like not doing
Lake
World
Peace too.
Lake, yeah, so you didn't get the lock 2. It just like dawned on me by the time I like hit Lost. I was like, oh no, am I gonna get enough?
Yeah. Welcome Bayleef as well.
Yep. GG's.
GG.
I had like 3 backtracks.
Yeah, I had to go back at the end. I missed a few too many captures, but
I missed.
I think that was the
missed the timer, and I missed a note moon soon. I usually have a little cheat sheet telling me how many of each are in each kingdom, so I can just breeze through them. Cause I'm used to pre or post peace routes, so
yeah,
really tough to keep them straight.
Yeah,
but I didn't really go into the expectation of winning. I just wanted sub hour because I had a lot going on the past couple days. Kind of just popped up out of nowhere. Been packing up my apartment, so the only thing left in my apartment is basically my PC. But it was alright. I definitely could have. I definitely lost like 2 minutes to routing. I got a ton of extra moons, which was bad. But I don't know, not. I'm okay. I guess I'm happy with the route I chose doing it, and by the time I got to move Mario, so
Yeah, I think that was the route you went with was the one I was probably gonna go for originally too.
Yeah, I still don't know which one's better. Like even seeing the boards at the end, they seem very close.
Yeah, like I think I kind of underestimated or overestimated how bad 16 non-ground pound moons in sand was. I kind of thought it would be a little bit more difficult because there's like 5 or 6 in the 80% route, but
Yeah,
it isn't
you
too
can just
terribly bad.
replace them with sub areas, and then like having the notes to incentivize going to Jaxi and top tower just
Yeah.
made it like super easy.
All right. Well, that's all we really have for tonight. Anything else you guys want to say?
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, just want to say thanks for commentating, and thanks to the restreamer Cyclone, and yeah, have a good night, everyone.
Make sure to follow the runners, and again, congrats to Briguy making it to the top 8. We will be bringing those to you on the Speed Gaming streams, possibly this coming week, but with SGDQ happening again, it's probably going to happen more in a couple of weeks. So stick around for that, and we'll be seeing you around. Make sure to donate for SGDQ's Super Mario Odyssey. See ya.